So Nomos sent me their new Club Campus 38 to try on for a bit. Unfortunately, I have to send it back. But until then, let me tell you why I'm starting to think that I need one of these. So the Club Campus range is well known as Nomos' offering to its students, university students alike, people like me. It sort of offers a bridge between the casual student and the working professional. The watch is fun, the watch is playful. It's also a little bit serious. It is sort of quite fashionable while also packing serious watchmaking prowess. I think Nomos got it right with the theme behind this piece. With the launch of the Rolex Oyster Perpetuals a few years back, the colorful ones, every brand kind of tuned into having this new theme of colorful dials in their watches. And it's a very playful theme, it's a very fashion-focused theme, but I don't think there's a model lineup that has done this better than the Nomos Club Campus range. This range was already targeted towards the youth, and adding color to it, well, it seems like it should have been this way from the start, and I really like that Nomos are doing it now. The watch comes in a few color variants. This particular one is one of the newest color variants, this and the peach-looking version. They're both fantastic colors, and by looking at them, you would have never thought that this model lineup originally came on more monochromatic, subtle variants. Those are also there, and they're pretty cool. I like the gray. It's very subtle. But for this type of watch, I do think color is the way to go. The watch uses a California dial with a second subdial. Aesthetically speaking, this has got to be one of the simplest, cool-looking combinations out there. One thing that's nice is the proportion of the indices. So the size of the indices compared to the size of the entire dial. Now this watch is mostly dial. I like that the bezel itself is quite small. Something I really like about the subdial is that it's recessed and it doesn't have a ring around the circumference of it. So you don't notice it instantly and it doesn't take away from the simplicity behind the dial. You only notice the subdial when you want to see it, but when you don't want to see it, you don't notice the dial as much, you just notice that bright fluorescent orange hand. So it's only there when you look for it. It just blends into the entire dial without much contrast. And even the markings, they're very faint and subtle. Now this orange subdial seconds hand is common to all the variants, so it doesn't depend on the dial color that you choose. It's still the same fluorescent looking orange. And I think it works best on something like this green or maybe a dark blue, something where there's more contrast. Yeah, I think it doesn't make that much sense on the yellow version or even maybe the peach version. So that is one thing to look at when you're selecting between colors. To me, the best thing about this watch is the fact that it's got an in-house manual wind caliber at this price range. It is very difficult to find something like this. A German-made watch with a German in-house movement at about 1,400 euros for the 38mm version or 1,300 for the 36. I don't really know of any other watch that does all of this and is this slim thanks to the movement. This is 8.5 millimeters thick. That is really, really impressive for a base watch like this. There is so much value you get in this particular piece. So much value you get from Nomos. If you've got an idea of something that does all of this in this sort of package and is this appealing at a better price point, do put it in the comments because I do not know of it and I'd like to see it. The case thickness of this watch is the number one thing that makes it feel so much more expensive than it is. It makes the entire watch feel so much more premium than you'd expect at this range. And the fact that it's 8.5 millimeters thin with a slightly raised crystal. I think it's even ever so slightly domed, but I might be wrong on that. But it's definitely slightly raised. That's fabulous. Now because of this, the case back is rather unimpressive, but I'll take this combination any day over a nicely engraved case back or display case back and a lot more thickness. This watch essentially disappears under even the tightest of sleeves, and you don't even know it's there. On wearing this, I had to make sure that the watch was still on my wrist. This kind of tight sleeve restricts its movement, and after some time you really don't feel it. So that's a pretty cool thing. I'm weirdly fascinated by this because in winter I don't like wearing watches, mainly because of the thickness and the issue with multiple sleeves. But I love the fact that was no issue with this. I'll be doing a very detailed review of this watch, so fret not. I'll cover all the things you were hoping to have answered. If you find these videos helpful, consider joining the channel. I've launched new channel memberships. Hopefully you see some value in that. So to summarize, why does Nomos get things right with this watch? Well, firstly, the color choices are so natural to this model. They fit this model perfectly. You want a bright colored, fun watch, this is it. The thinness of the watch is sublime. I don't think I need to say more. That thinness is the result of the really nice manual wind in-house caliber. Now, if you're not a manual wind fan, then obviously there's another watch for you. Now, the fourth point is the strap, very high quality. I'll get onto the details in the upcoming review. See you there.